Hello everyone, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Isaac.
And you're listening to Let's Talk Avatar.
This podcast is a watch-through of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
We will be discussing each episode in detail and giving our opinions on it.
So stick around and be a part of the conversation.
Just as a warning, this episode does feature spoilers from Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is a teen-rated podcast, so listener discretion is advised. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Let's Talk Avatar podcast. My name is Rachel.
My name is Isaac.
In today's episode, we will be discussing Season 2 of Avatar: The Last Airbender, episodes 1 through 4.
Yeah!
And just as a disclaimer, we are using one mic today, so if it sounds a little funky or not normal, or I guess as usual as it normally does, it's because we have one mic. We've been having technical difficulties for the time being, so please bear with us.
Yeah, if anyone has any idea on how to reinstall Voicemeeter,
let us know.
Because apparently when you try to install another version, you have to uninstall the one you had before, which makes sense, but I tried doing that, didn't work.
Restarted the computer like 5 different times.
We've literally tried to go to a different backup on our computer, like from a different save, and it didn't work. So right now we're just taking any suggestion, but for now we have this one mic. Or if you know
another, another
free sound
software, whatever you'd call it, let us know.
We don't even know.
Anyway, back to the actual podcast. It's been a while since we recorded, actually. We went on vacation, so we pre-recorded...
like 3 episodes.
Yeah, 3 episodes. So we're excited to get back into this, and we just watched the episodes, so they're fresh in our mind. I'm also strep-free. I had strep throat on vacation. Yay for me. So, needless to say, we're excited to be back and recording another episode for you guys because we've missed Avatar. Oh, yes. And an update. So, we mentioned before when we first started watching, we were using the box set that I got on Amazon for like $24.99. But the anniversary edition came out. So I had to buy it. Couldn't resist.
Yeah.
So now we're watching the Blu-ray disc set anniversary edition that just came out like, what, a few weeks ago?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. So, when we refer to the discs from this point on, it will be according to that edition rather than what we were watching it on before, if that makes any sense. Not that you guys cared, but if you did, we finally upgraded to Blu-ray.
Yeah, we're still gonna watch 4 episodes in a row, even though the discs have, like, I think it's 8 episodes on the first 2.
Yeah.
But we're still gonna do the same formula for it just to keep it simple and fun.
And easy to follow, yes.
So, I'm going to preface this whole, I guess, our opinions by saying I really like this season so far. I think I might like it more than the first season already. Just because these first 4 episodes are a perfect introduction. They did such a good job with introducing the plot in the first 4 episodes of the second season.
And you've been introduced to the characters, I guess not all of them, but for the most part, the main cast you've been introduced to. So you're not taking the time to meet them, you know? So we're getting into like really entertaining episodes.
And then you're introduced to Azula and her posse.
Yeah, and soon to be Toph.
Soon to be Toph, already hinted at, basically in an episode.
No, not... Is it next episode? No, it's like 3 episodes away.
We'll get into it. Starting with episode 1...
The Avatar State.
The Avatar State. So this episode was really interesting to me. It started out with Aang going through all the different times he's gone into the Avatar State. Mm-hmm. Which I thought was kind of weird. Like, he was kind of struggling after... It makes sense, though, from the end of Season 1. He's kind of struggling with the Avatar State and what it can do and how he can access that.
Yeah.
Because he literally took out a whole fleet of ships in this previous season.
Yeah, he's a little OP in the Avatar State. But he can't control it as of right now.
Yeah.
So that's what this episode's pretty much going through, is it's him realizing that he can't control when he goes into the Avatar state, but when he goes into the Avatar state, he can pretty much do anything.
Yeah, his power level is, like, astronomical.
Yeah.
Like, they're actually in this earthbending kingdom. I forget what it's called. It's probably one of the coolest looking Earth kingdoms, I think. It's like that circular inner wall city. Not Ba Sing Se, but it has, like, multiple walls. Anyways, it looks cool. But they're there to, I guess, train to be able to fight Ozai.
They're going there thinking that he's going to be getting trained on earthbending.
Yeah, that's right.
By
General Fong.
Yeah, who's just a complete jerk and is like, I just need you to take out the Fire Lord, so that's what you're going to do. And so this episode is them going to... What is that city called? Why can't I think of it?
I don't even know. I'm like, it's not Omashu. That's the next episode or the next few.
Anyway, it's Earth, like Earth territory kingdom.
Even though he was a major jerk and was kind of like snakish in ways, I felt like this was one of the first times we've seen a political episode. It felt very political without it being forced in your face. It was just like, these are the characters, this is what they're going through. Everyone knows the Avatar's alive now, so they're going to try and use him to obviously defeat Ozai.
Yeah, which can we talk about when Fong is like telling Aang, like pretty much pressuring him and is like, hey, you need to make your decision because look outside here. Look at all these soldiers that came back. They're the lucky ones.
Yeah.
And Aang, again, 12-year-old boy, is feeling the pressure and like, well, I'm the Avatar. I'm supposed to be doing something about it. And he is not prepared at all to deal with it.
And Katara
he's trying to get prepared.
Katara even stands up for him and is like, no, I'm not going with you because I know you're not going to be able to do it right now. Like, that would be dumb if we did that right now.
So pretty much the episode is him, they try so many different things to induce the Avatar state. It doesn't work until Fong literally is killing Katara.
Suffocating her in the ground.
Forces Aang to go into the Avatar state. And it just gets...
Which, right then,
crazy.
Aang has another out-of-body spiritual moment where he
goosebumps.
Actually is riding the dragon with, what's his name?
Roku.
And Roku ends up telling him exactly what the Avatar state is, what it does, and what it's used for. And he basically says it is a defense mechanism.
And you have access to all previous avatars. But the catch is if you are... killed in the Avatar state, or it's killed, right? Like, there will no longer be an Avatar after you.
Yeah,
like,
if you are...
Avatars are done. They're dead.
If you are literally killed while you're in the Avatar state,
like,
Avatars
every
no more.
connection to the Avatar is gone. So there won't be another Avatar that pops up. The line ends there. Which I think it like, why does he say that there? He tells him this, but then he also says, like, hey, if you die in the Avatar state, that's the end of the Avatar. Because something's coming up. Why else would he mention that, you know? I never noticed that before.
I didn't either, but it's so obvious.
It is.
When going back.
Yeah.
So, eventually, they take out General Fong, and even his own men are like, yeah, that's cool, like, you can beat him up. We don't really care about him.
Also, this whole time, Azula came to Zuko and Iroh, and she told Zuko, like, hey, our dad just wants you to come back. He really regrets banishing you. Please come back. And Zuko obviously falls for it because he wants nothing more than the honor restored back to him from his dad. And come to find out, Azula lied to them and is just trying to bring them home as prisoners. So... Zuko and, which, can we mention, me and you were both like, she literally was going to kill Zuko if it weren't for Iroh stopping her.
Yeah.
He would have died.
I don't know if it was just because this is the first episode of the second season, so they want to start off with a bang. But the
literal.
The animation this episode in general is really good, but specifically where Azula's like charging up, she's like making a circle with her arms with the lightning, and then like presses through the middle, and then Iroh comes in to do that save and channels the lightning away from Zuko. That whole scene was
and a whole cliff freaking falls. Like, you're telling me that's how much power was in like, in her.
Yeah.
That was going to hit Zuko. Like, he would have
So,
died.
This is our first introduction into Azula. This is everyone watching the show, you know.
It's a really good, you know, because the main bad guy is obviously Fire Lord Ozai. Like, he is obviously the main bad guy of the whole thing. But we went from Zuko being, like, the antagonist, the main antagonist besides Ozai, to now it's Azula. And Zuko and Iroh are on their own. They're doing their own thing.
Yeah, Zuko right now he's more of like he's not a neutral character, but he's definitely more of a gray area. And he always has been, but right now
he can't trust his own nation. He can't trust the Earth nation, like the Earth Kingdom, nothing. So he literally is neutral, him and Iroh.
I mean, he was just manipulated by his sister.
Yeah. Which, come on, you should have seen that coming.
Yeah,
you know her.
Yeah, and you already know she's better at fighting than you, so obviously she's going to get the Avatar before you do. So it's like, what does he do now?
Yeah. But that's pretty much the first episode of the second season. A lot happens. Kind of sets up the season for you. You know, we're kind of getting a current assessment of where each character's at.
Yeah, again, one of the best introductions I've seen. I don't normally like transitions from seasons, like intros to seasons, just because it's like, okay, can we get on with the plot? But this one was really good at introducing new characters and, you know, having them already set in that universe perfectly. Yeah. So on to the next episode. It is called The Cave of Two Lovers.
Ooh, this is a classic. Any Avatar fan will tell you this is a classic.
So...
Which it dawned on Isaac and I. Again, it's been years since we've done a whole watch through of Avatar: The Last Airbender. So we're watching this, and Isaac makes a comment, which we'll talk about later, where I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
So this whole time they've been trying to go to Omashu. Now I know why. Okay. I don't know why I didn't notice this before, but I just realized it now. They're going to Omashu after General Fong because Bumi's the next Earthbender master that they even know. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, because right now he has water down. Well, not completely down, but he has Katara training him. He has air. Fire is obviously going to be the last. No, he has fire.
Yeah.
Because of Zhang.
Yep.
So he literally just needs earth.
Yeah.
So that's right. He's trying to find an earthbender. Yeah, so he's going to Bumi next. That's why he's going to Amalshu.
Which... one of the worst teachers, in my opinion, just because of his own selfish, like, psychopathy games. But they end up, this episode is them trying to figure out a way to get to Omashu without, I guess, running into the Fire Nation, because...
which is trailing right behind them at this point.
Yeah. They actually find, or this like, band of hippies... Yes. Ends up coming out of the woods and finding them. The nomads.
That sing constantly.
Yeah, which I would buy their album. They're not that bad. They end up talking about this tunnel, which is called the Cave of Two Lovers, and it goes all the way through to Omashu. Like, brings you right there.
But it's a labyrinth, so...
yeah, it's like a maze.
Crazy maze. And there's a song that goes along with it, and it's pretty much saying, love will guide you through... and if you don't trust in love, then you're going to die in the cave.
Yeah, basically. So they end up just going through the cave, and Sokka's the only one that's kind of like...
the one that has an issue.
Yeah. He's like very weary of it, but the rest of them are like...
and before they enter the cave, they, you know, the hippies tell them pretty much like, the only way we will get through this cave is with love. It, you know, and they're like, is this really worth it? Are we going to be able to do it? And you see Aang look over at Katara, who's not looking at him, and he's like, yeah, we can do this. Pretty much solidifying again the fact that he's in love with her. And as they're in the cave, they end up getting separated. Sokka gets separated from Aang and Katara and Appa, who are on their own, and then Sokka, the hippies, and Momo are on their own. And so they're both trying to find their way out at this point. Aang and Katara end up going into... they find a tomb, which is the tomb of the two lovers, who... What are their names? This is where Isaac was like, oh yeah, I remember. And I was like, that's right, duh.
So the female's name is Oma, and the male's name is Shu. Mm-hmm. So that's how the city was named Omashu.
Yes, after these two lovers whose tribes hated each other, so they had a forbidden love, and that's the reason they created this tunnel.
Kind of like the
Romeo and
the
Juliet.
Avatar universe's version of Romeo
Yeah,
and Juliet.
a lot better, I would say,
Yeah.
but not as like dark. But yeah, so Omashu gets the name from these two lovers, which is revealed while Aang and Katara are in their tomb. And then Katara makes a comment about maybe they should blow the light out and kiss because love is going to make its way, help them make their way through. And it causes drama because Aang doesn't want to admit that he likes her. And so it caused a little drama. But anyway, the light ends up going out on them and the crystals that light up show them their path out. And that's Aang and Katara's experience. Just to sum it up real quick.
Just solidifies
the
fact that they are truly in love, whether they know it now or not.
We can admit the fact that I am a shipper. I will forever be a shipper. But watching Aang and Katara, just knowing that they grow up to get married and have kids, watching them now, I mean, I don't know how you could ship anyone else with one of them because they are literally meant to be together and they couple each other so well. They complement each other. They are just such a good match. They're a good challenge for each other, because Aang's the Avatar. He obviously needs someone that can handle that, and Katara can more than handle that.
Yeah, they're both powerful.
She teaches him water bending,
They're a power couple.
They're literally a power couple. But anyway, Sokka and the hippie crew end up finding their way out because of, what are they called?
The Badger Moles.
The Badger Moles, yes.
Which, by the way...
They love the music.
Yeah.
So they find their way out, and then they part ways with the hippies, and Sokka, Aang, and Katara, Momo, and Appa go on their way. So you get a little background of Omashu and how it came to be and the backstory, which is, I guess it's not quite filler, but it's kind of filler. You just get some background.
It's one of those episodes that I don't know what episode in season 1 I can compare it to, but it's definitely one of those episodes. It's like the episode
where they talk about the two tribes that hate each other. It's the
no,
same.
Because I like the Cave of Two Lovers.
Well, better. I do too, but it's still like a background story in the Avatar universe, So it progresses the plot, but it's more of a side story.
Yeah, it's just one of those episodes that it's like you enjoy watching it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily push the plot like the previous episode did.
Exactly.
Which, can I say one more thing about the first episode? They went super fast with that. Like, Azula somehow was just on a ship in the middle of the ocean, and then the next scene is with Zuko and Iroh, and she's inside their, like, little hut.
Yeah. It did progress really fast.
They're moving things forward.
I thought about that, too. I was like, dang, she's already there?
So, on to episode 3. It is titled Return to Omashu, and beginning of the episode... They end up finding out that the entire city has been taken over by the Fire Nation. And we're not just talking like the people are enslaved and all that stuff that happens with the usual takeover trope. We're talking like the whole city was encased in metal so that the earthbenders could not bend a single thing to their advantage. Which is dedication, but honestly, like that's just... shows how powerful the Fire Nation is. This
is also the episode that we get to meet Ty Lee and May, who are Azula's best friends. I can't say that Azula really has best friends. She uses people...
puppets.
Yeah. She just uses people. But they're the closest thing she has to friends. May and Ty Lee are more best friends than Azula is to them, I guess you could say. But May's father is the one who is the governor over... Omashu now.
Yeah, he was like appointed the new governor.
Yeah. And Ty Lee is in the circus because if you know anything about Ty Lee, she's a free spirit, definitely.
Yeah, her family is actually in charge of like one of the main, I guess, circus shows, traveling circuses. Is that what it's called?
Her family is?
That's her family. I
thought she left because she didn't like being with her family. That's why she went to the circus. Because her family is just like May's. Like it's a royal family in the Fire Nation.
Well, big oops on my part.
I mean, I could see it. It's like her family. She's been traveling with them for a while. Anyway, Azula's trying to get Tylee to go with her, and she ends up convincing her, or I guess not necessarily convincing her. It's more she's more manipulates people, you know?
Yeah.
So Tylee ends up going with her, and then they head to Omashu. At the same time, Aang is in Omashu with Katara and Sokka, and they're meeting up with Mai there. But right before they get there, like the day before, Aang is there, and Mai's little brother Tom Tom ends up not necessarily getting kidnapped because he just kind of followed Momo.
Yeah, he just kind of wandered off as babies do if they're left unsupervised.
Yeah.
Any kid. Really.
Which, can we talk about, like, did the parents not ask for, like, that hour he was gone where he was? Because he wasn't taking a nap before, I know that.
Also, when they actually do figure out that their son is missing, Mai just hands her mom, like, a cloth to wipe her eyes.
Okay, but that's Mai. She's so unamused. She's, like, probably thinking, like, thank God that kid's gone. But anyway, while they're there, they're trying to free the earthbenders there, and Sokka actually gets this really smart idea to make them look like they're infected. What's it called? Something. It's their version of chickenpox, essentially.
It's like octopox.
Something like that. So Mai's dad pretty much kicks them all out, which is what they wanted because he didn't want anyone else to become infected. So because of Sokka's really smart idea, they all get set free, and that's when they leave with them, and that is when they have the baby, and they realize, like, oh, why do we have this baby?
Yeah.
And a letter gets sent to them from Mai's dad. I don't know his name. I'm just going to call him Mai's dad.
Yeah, I don't know if it's, like, I think it's said maybe once or twice, but who cares?
Yeah. He sends a letter basically saying, if you give my child back, I will give you King Boomy. So, of course, Aang is, like, in full agreement. I'm pretty sure they were going to give the baby back anyway, you know?
They're not evil.
Yeah, exactly. They weren't trying to take the baby. So, when they go to do the trade, that's when Azula's there. And Azula pretty much tells Mai's dad, like, you're not going to be part of this. Mai's going to deal with it. And Mai is like, a baby for a king? Not really a fair trade, so we're not going to do it. And then it starts this whole thing. Aang takes Boomy, slides all through the rails.
Okay, but hold on. Let's go back. That is your baby brother.
I'm telling you, but Mai has no emotion.
Also, in that scene, before Aang actually saves Boomy or, like, goes on a slide,
they fight with them.
Azula finds out that he is the Avatar because Aang's headband that he had on falls off. And Azula's like, okay, well, now we have a new target. It's not just trying to get Zuko back. Now we have the Avatar to go after. Because he's literally right here.
Long story short, they end up returning the baby. Aang ends up talking to Boomy. Boomy is talking about are they cheese? You have positive, negative, and neutral. And he's basically saying, my time has not come to leave yet. You know, like, I have there's a plan and a purpose for the reason I'm here. And the reason why I gave up Omashu. So Aang leaves him, and then he returns the baby, and that's the end of the episode. And we pretty much get the introduction to Azula's crew, who is now not only chasing Zuko and Iroh, but the Avatar.
We also learn that Tylee is a special kind of non-bender. She's actually a chi blocker, which means she can, like, hit you on these
pressure points, which disables your bending skills for a little bit.
Wonder if the pressure points are different for different types of benders.
That's a good question,
because with the Avatar universe, you have, like, the different chakras. Uh-huh. And those, I think, are closely related to different elements you can bend. Mm-hmm. Like, the stomach one, I think, is, like, the fire.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe? I don't know.
I never really thought about it.
They go in depth in so many areas. I wouldn't be surprised if there is, like, a true meaning behind that. But on to the 4th episode. It's titled The Swamp. Now, this episode, I will admit, in my opinion, it was
the most boring?
The most boring of the 4.
It's very interesting, don't get us wrong, but it's out of those 4, the most boring.
But the end, I should say the first half is boring, but the second half is amazing.
Yes.
It basically starts out with them having to go through the swamp because there is no other way. It's a huge, expansive swamp. So they go through it and they start to realize that this swamp is, like, has its own sentience.
Yeah.
It's like its own spirit.
Aang is being called by this swamp. And so they go in. They end up getting separated. And each of them experience something different. Like Katara sees her mom, who's dead. Sokka sees Yue, who's dead. And Aang sees this weirdly, like, dressed princess running around that he's following. All of these lead them to the middle of the swamp where these trees' roots are. Like, the where the tree basically is. And they end up, this, like, huge, like, vine monster shows up and they start fighting it. And they end up cutting it down enough to realize that there's someone controlling it. And, which, in his defense, he's literally just trying to defend the swamp.
Yeah, he's like the
intruders.
guardian.
So they end up getting on good terms with them, and they tell him that Aang is the Avatar, and he's like, oh, follow me. And they're like, oh, okay. I'd be like, okay, every time someone has found out he's the Avatar, they've tried to kill them. So tried to kill him. So I would have been like, nah, not so much. But they follow him, and he basically tells them, like, this tree is a spirit of its own, you know, like its roots flow throughout the entire world, and it's like just like how we're all living, this tree is living, and so is everything around it.
He didn't say world, he said like the Earth Kingdom, but then they were like, could it possibly be around the whole world? And he didn't really, he gave an expression that like insinuated the world, which I think it's something so simple, but I think that is something that Avatar does so good at, is just subtle hints at things. Mm-hmm. And the viewer is led to believe one way or the other.
Yeah.
Which I think is part of the beauty of Avatar watch through.
Mm-hmm. Also, when they got separated, so did Momo and Appa. So once they talk to this guy and they figure out what this tree is, which he tells them, like, it's a very spiritual thing to be there. And so the reason they saw the people they did is because they're somehow related to the, in a way of like, it's telling him that those people will always be there with them, you know? But Sokka and Katara's people are dead. Aang doesn't know who this person is. So the guy tells him, like, it's going to be someone you're going to meet. And me and Isaac both know who that is. We'll talk about it in another episode. But then Aang puts his hands on the roots and activates, like, you see the arrow on his hand glow. And he finds Appa and Momo just from feeling the roots.
Yeah, that animation of, it almost looked like the Avatar spirit traveling through different vines and really roots.
Cool.
Yeah,
I don't remember that. You know, it's been a while since I've watched it. I remember a little bit, but I don't remember how detailed it was when he finds them.
This episode makes me want to rewatch Korra season 4. And for anyone that's seen Korra season 4, you know why. Because of the tree and that swamp.
Yeah.
And the character...
Okay, my mind was just blown. I can't say anything till we talk about Korra, which is going to be a while. But I just realized something that I'm going to have to tell you after this podcast.
Yeah. I was realizing a bunch of things as I was watching this episode. It just hit
me just now. That's crazy.
It's almost like Korra, so Avatar: The Last Airbender, this episode, The Swamp, is its own thing, right?
Uh-huh.
And then you have the episode in Korra season 4,
yeah,
which is like Korra's version of the swamp.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, does every Avatar go to this swamp? Like, is this a moment of realization for every Avatar or most of them?
Well, that's a good question.
Because this tree is literally the hub for everything, I feel like. Like, the roots travel.
There's a lot. It's a very spiritual experience. And the Avatar is a very spiritual person, you know? Yeah. So it would make sense. But they end up finding Appa and Momo, who are being captured by swamp benders, who are actually water benders, but they're like the southern version of water benders. No, because there's northern and southern. But they have like that, like, really like hick accent, you know?
Yeah.
And they're like, when Katara meets them, she's like, "You're waterbenders?" And they're like, "You are too?" And they're like, "You're my kid." And her look,
her look is like,
I don't want to be related to you.
Yeah. Which that was hilarious to watch. But they end up spending the night and getting their bellies full, and then they're on to the next thing, the next adventure, which I forget where they're going, but I'm sure it's probably Ba Sing Se.
Where are they going?
They're trying to find an earthbender master. That's right.
Yeah. Which we all know will happen very, very soon, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, the character is actually in the swamp episode.
Yeah, there's a lot of this
foreshadowing.
is a lot of foreshadowing and a lot jam-packed into these first 4 episodes. That's why I'm sorry if it seemed like I was rushing through explaining the episodes, because there's a lot that happens.
There is.
And we could sit here for literally like at
Hours.
least 2 hours just talking about the episode. So I was trying to speed it up and give you guys a general idea of what's going on so far. But yeah, season 2 I'm definitely excited for. And I'm looking forward to the episodes that are to come. You know, we've really yet to really reach that point of, like, boring episodes. You know, me and you have talked about it. We've yet to get there. Like, every time there's an episode where I'm like, oh, here we go. The next episode's, like, so jam-packed.
Yeah.
That I'm, like, hardly being able to keep track. So I'm like, whoa, this is happening over here. This is happening over here, you know?
There is a slew of episodes where Appa and Momo go missing.
Yeah.
Which I'm not excited for.
Just because Appa is literally their transportation. So they have to go on
so they can't really leave
from there.
They can't really leave anywhere.
Yeah, or go too far. I mean, they could, but it's going to be walking, you know?
But that's probably not for another, like, 10 episodes?
I'm not really sure.
8 or 10, something like that. But anyways, that has been our watch through so far of season 2 of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yes. We're really hoping that you guys are enjoying this. If you are, let us know. Like, reach out to us on social media, email us, check our website out. That way, we can know what you guys think and get some feedback. Because we, like I always say, we love to hear what you guys think about the episodes, or if you have a different take on something, we'd always love to hear it. So reach out, let us know. You can find us on, this is on our outro, but also too, reach out to us. We're always on Twitter, Instagram, our website, nonessentialmedia.com. And on our website, you can email us through there too. We always see that. Everything you guys send us, we see 100%.
Yeah, or you can just go to, like, compose a new email and type in nonessentialmedia nonessentialmedia@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
And also, we do upload every single podcast episode to YouTube as well, so you can directly comment on that video as well.
Mm-hmm.
But
yes. We try to make it as simple and as accessible for you guys as possible.
Yeah.
And we love making these episodes for you. Isaac and I were so eager to watch it and make this for you guys and for us because it's very entertaining. So,
favorite character so far?
Ooh. That's hard.
I know. This is the hardest, I think, the most difficult time I've had with...
Katara's really, probably Katara.
The thing about these...
Aang is always a top for me, but Katara right now. Sokka, I mean, it's too hard. They're all good right now.
Every character right now is going through it, and I guess
one character
advancing.
I feel like forever will need recognition is Iroh. The fact that he has Zuko's back, even when Zuko's being a complete jerk to him, and will always have his best interest at heart, like, he deserves all the best tea in the world.
MVP uncle right there. Best uncle.
Uncle Iroh.
Think about how many times, just in Zuko's backstory, when the Agni Kai with Ozai, his dad, happened. Like, if Iroh wasn't there to save him, Zuko would have been dead.
Or... so many times he would have been dead without Iroh, and so many people underestimate the power he has, but he is actually, I think, one of the strongest firebenders you see in this show.
And he's so, I don't like using this word, but chill. Like, that's the only word I can describe him as.
He's very lax, like laid back,
yeah.
and like he doesn't let things bother him. And I think it's because he is so he's so tapped into the spiritual realm that he doesn't worry about the worries of this world,
the material world.
Yeah. Except whether he has tea or not.
But I think that also, I think because he is so laid back, he kind of is like pushed to the side in terms of like character development, because he's already such a great character, so people don't really look at him as like, oh, he's amazing, because he's just already at that point. You know,
really?
he kind of lays back.
A lot of people do. They notice that. But he's just not a main character, obviously. You know, like he is pushed to the side because he is a side character. But,
ooh, when we get into the White Lotus episodes,
Okay, we gotta stop. Because
Yeah, we
I
gotta
have to tell
stop
you
spoiling
something anyway.
stuff. But I am Isaac,
I'm Rachel.
and we will see you next week with another episode.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Let's Talk Avatar. I'm Isaac.
And I'm Rachel.
You can find us on our website at nonessentialmedia.com,
On Instagram under Nonessential Media,
on Twitter at nonessentialm,
and on Facebook by searching Nonessential Media. Join us next week for another episode of Let's Talk Avatar.
We love the Unagi.